on this beautiful St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2026. It is 5:30 p.m. and we are in the Bosch Freilich meeting room at Mandan City Hall. Mr. Neubauer, could you please take the roll?
Commissioners Braun.
Yes.
Rohr.
Here.
Schoberg.
Here.
Heinchan.
Here.
Mayor Freilich.
Here. And at this time, we will have Peyton Himmelschbach from Scout Troop number 425 lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody would stand, remove any headgear, face the flag.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Peyton. At this time, we will have announcements, project updates. Jarek?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Put together a short slide for project updates. We're getting closer and closer to construction season and trying to give just a kind of a general update to some of these projects that are active right now and will be active in the near future. First, Memorial Highway. People might see that in the news more and more. The second phase of that project was awarded recently to Northern Improvement, and we will be having a public input meeting tomorrow at Midway Lanes from 4 to 7 p.m. There will be representation from the NDDOT, from the city, and from each of the construction contractors on the project. Just inviting people to participate in that. It's a really good opportunity to have one-on-one conversations with people that know what's going on with these projects. Mandan Proper Phase 1. This is another project that we've been active with recently. We had a public input meeting last week, March 12th from 6 to 8 p.m. at First Lutheran Church. During this meeting, we discussed the scope of the project, schedule, financing, and input process. We had a pretty good turnout. This would be the input meeting after we sent out special assessment letters. So there was a lot of questions and concerns around the special assessment calculation and amount and payback period and all that stuff. So we had a lot of really good conversations related to that. I think the general sentiment is that everybody acknowledged that the project was needed and was kind of excited for it. Just wanted to bring up that we do have project website available for the Mandan Proper Phase 1 project and many of our other projects. But if people weren't able to make it to the meeting, they could view the February 24th and March 12th presentation videos. There's an interactive feedback map on the project website if they have specific concerns they want addressed with the project, as well as contact information. And then the protest period started after our last commission meeting and will end on April 6th. And we will have to consider it at the April 7th meeting. So there will be a quick turnaround on that protest period. Another project of interest is our Collins Avenue Reservoir project. This one will be picking back up in the spring. It'll be picking back up in kind of a different way. One of the major items left to do is to peel back that retaining wall at the corner of Division and Collins Avenue. And it should improve the sight line when you are westbound at that intersection. And then what's left to do is really site cleanup work and reservoir painting. So that's a big one right there. And then just to highlight some of the other projects that we'll have active around town in 2026. Water Treatment Plant Phase 3, Terra Valley decommissioning, Master Lift Station improvements, the 3A Street Rehabilitation Project up by Red Trail Elementary. We will have lead service line replacements throughout our community. And then we have our First Street reconstruction project, which we'll discuss in more detail later, and our Area 2B reconstruction project, which we'll discuss in more detail later. Is there anything on this list that you guys would like me to expand on more?
Commissioners? Nope.
No, that's what I have for project updates.
Okay, thank you, Jarek.
Yep.
Spring Cleanup Week, April 20th through the 25th. Mr. O'Keefe, the only Irishman in the room.
I'm sure that's not true. Good evening, mayors, commissioners. It's that time of year again. 2026 Spring Cleanup Week is scheduled for April 20th through the 25th. The landfill will be open April 18th, that Saturday before. through the 25th from 8 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. During this time, we'll be accepting items like furniture, appliances free of charge for the City of Mandan residents. But during the spring cleanup week, just like every other year, we'll be going around picking up all the fun stuff on your normal pickup day from the curb. So we have stuff that won't be included on our website. If you have any questions, just call down to Public Works.
So on this momentous year of Celebrate 250, are you encouraging everyone to really do a good, deep spring clean?
Yeah, I think
Get
it's
it out on the curb and clean up Mandan?
get it out on the curb, and we'll get rid of it for you.
I hate to put words in your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. O'Keefe. Mr. Neubauer?
Mayor and Commissioners, one thing to add to the announcements would be from the Morton Mandan Public Library on March 31st from 11:15 a.m. to 1:15 p.m. at the Morton Mandan Public Library, what we're calling the Play Lab. And again, this is an open house, not at the library, but at 701 5th Street Southwest, which is near the Public Works shop, only a little bit to the west. Again, big announcement coming up. Again, not at liberty to say right now, but there will be an open house March 31st, 11:15 to 1:15 p.m. And I think the Morton Mandan Public Library folks would appreciate if you would RSVP. There is a QR code on the screen right now, and we have several flyers throughout the area, and also you can pick one up at the library if you're needing one, but registration would be appreciated so the folks can plan accordingly for refreshments, and maybe they'll even have cookies there. So,
Mayor Jim, has this building has been renovated for this purpose?
Mayor Freilich and Commissioner Rohr, I would like to let the surprise occur on that date. I know that there is an announcement at that point in time. I think this is a result of a few years ago we had a Brownfields grant, and along with that grant came a kind of a visioning program on how we can improve some things on the 3rd Street corridor. This ties into that really well, so I think folks will be pretty pleased with what the library has planned for that building.
So to satisfy our curiosity, we need to go down there.
I like to keep you hanging, so yes, to satisfy your curiosity, I would encourage you to RSVP and show up on March 31st from 11:15 until 1:15. So, any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Neubauer? Nope. Thank you. Now, at this time, we have public comment. Mr. Neubauer, are there any public comments? No, sir. Not at this time? Okay. Commissioners, you have the agenda before you. I would look for a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Brown, a second by Commissioner Schoberg. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes, agenda is approved. We'll move on to the minutes. Consider approval of the March 3rd, 2026 Board of City Commission meeting minutes.
I'll move to approve the meeting minutes from the March 3rd, 2026 Board of City Commission meeting. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Schoberg, a second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioners Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. We'll now move on to public hearings. Number 1, under public hearing, consider a request for preliminary plat to be named 1884 edition. Jordan?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Tonight I'm here requesting the preliminary plat, 1884 edition, from the Call Family Trust to be named as such. On my screen I've got just the location map. The zoning, obviously, this is just west of town. In that area, it's very low density section of town. Let me get to the plat itself. This is what we have written up through a few different renditions and just meeting with staff to make sure we have what we would finally call this 1884 edition. They obviously met with us, and this is what we've come up with. I know the one piece we have as a comment and part of the recommendation is the updated master plan. I believe we're getting that yet, John? If we haven't already. So that would be the only other thing that would be outstanding with this plat. With that, I would ask for any questions. This came through P&Z and was approved, and obviously city staff recommends approval of the 1884 edition of the preliminary plat contingent on the updated master plan. But we would like to host a public hearing for it first.
Any questions for Jordan? No? Okay, thank you, Jordan. At this time, we will open the public hearing. Any comments regarding the preliminary plat for 1884? Second call for public comments. Third and final call for public comments. Hearing none, the hearing is closed. Commissioners, wishes?
I move to recommend approval of the 1884 edition preliminary plat contingent on an updated master plan.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Schoberg, a second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. We'll move on to item number 2, consider insufficiency of protest for Street Improvement District 242. Jarek?
Mayor and Commissioners, good evening. I have a short presentation leading into this public hearing. Just wanted to maybe update people on the project that haven't heard of the project before and give a little recap for those who might need a refresher on it. The project location for the Street Improvement District 242, also known as the Project 2B area, is near Roosevelt Elementary, just west of Sunset, and 6th and north of Main Street, excluding the area that was reconstructed up by Low Strader last year. Project description, what's being fixed? The main reason for the project is a water main replacement project to fix cast iron water mains that are past their useful life, brittle, and have been breaking at an accelerating rate. Here's a cast iron water main pipe on the screen on the bottom right here. Additionally, we would be looking at making a lot of lead service line replacements in the area, sanitary and storm sewer improvements for better drainage and extending the life to match the life of the new PVC water mains. And we would include road and alley reconstruction and rehabilitation for smoother rides, address drainage issues, and then as well, we would make some minor quality of life improvements, including ADA ramp installations, which we are required to do. What are the funding sources on the project? For this project, we are estimating it to cost about $18.2 million. We are estimating a DWR grant of about $4.4 million, and this represents 60% of the water eligible items. We would also have a $2.6 million city utility fund contribution and a $2.9 million municipal infrastructure fund contribution representing 20% of the reconstruction costs. That total amount is just about $10 million, leaving $8.2 million left, and this project is eligible for a 2% SRF low-interest loan, and we would take out $8.2 million and back that with special assessments. This would translate to a special assessment per unit that ranges per residential unit that ranges from $5,000 to $19,500, which translates to $32 per month to $127 per month over the 15-year period if somebody was to take advantage of the 2% interest loan. And if you, assuming yearly payments, that's about a 66% buy down. If you paid it all up front, it's about a 55% buy down. So without funding, just putting into other terms, the project would be exposed to a 6% market rate, and the unit assessment would change from $5,000 to $19,000 to about $13,000 to $45,000, and that would translate to about $112 per month to $386 per month. Public engagement, I know that a lot of people have brought up public engagement on this project, and I just wanted to recap our public engagement effort. On January 7th, right after the January 6th Commission meeting, we sent out postcards for the first public input meeting. And these were delivered, and then we had our first public input meeting on January 21st. This would be prior to the creation of the Special Assessment District, which has been very important to us. That is, it is not the first time that people are contacted about the project with special assessments. On February 4th, we sent out estimated special assessment letters, as well as an invitation to a second public input meeting that would be more focused around assessments and estimated assessments. In addition to this, we have put up a project website that includes a newsletter sign-up, interactive feedback map, as well as contact information. For the protests, our protest period, or the resolutions creating the district were approved at the February 3rd meeting, and the resolution of necessity was published on February 6th in the Mandan News, and that initiates that 30-day protest period. Since the protest period ended on the weekend, March 9th was the final day to submit protests, and we did receive protests on March 9th, I believe. So people took full advantage of that full time period. And then here we are tonight, March 17th, where we are considering the protests. On the right here, you can see a protest map. The red area, the red dots are the protests. Oh, this would happen. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulty here. There we go. It should be back up. Sorry about that. All right. The red dots are a protest. The gray dots are a protest that was submitted and then subsequently withdrawn. And the purple dots are protests that were submitted by somebody other than the property owner, which are not valid. The total non-public land area is about 4.5 million square feet, and that would be the 100% that we are comparing things against. The total amount of the protest was just over 2 million square feet, which accounts for about 45.2% of the land area. Additionally, we did some more calculations. Withdrawn protests accounted for about 6.3% of the land area, and invalid protests accounted for about 1.5% of the land area. So for tonight's consideration, we have a protest rate by land area that is under 50%, and eventually in subsequent items, we'll have a recommendation to find the protest insufficient and to amend a contract with Moore Engineering. But in the meantime, we'll have our public hearing, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you would all like further clarification on. Otherwise, any questions right now?
Any questions for Jarek? John?
Okay,
Thank you, Jarek. At this time, we will open the public hearing. If you wish to speak, please approach the podium, sign in, and state your name. Be concise and keep it above the belt. Second call for comments.
Well, my name is Marty Harrelson. I live within this district. I just really want to state that I really appreciate all the work that the city and engineering firm has put into. I live on a street that is steep and has had, I think, about 5 breaks in about 3 years. So any good backbone of a city is clean water, deliverable water, wastewater collection, and great wastewater treatment. And so I'm a huge proponent of this project, and I don't like specials, but at the same time, they're necessary in this case. And so, like I said, I just really appreciate that, appreciate all the work. And I'm not sad that the the 51% hasn't been met. So anyways, thank you for all your time. Thanks for all your efforts. And thanks for finding all of the SRF money and also all of the DWR money to try to keep all of our costs down. And because if this doesn't go through at this time, I know that some of those monies might not be around, and also interest rates are looking to go up. So I appreciate that this project keeps moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Marty? Okay, thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak tonight?
Tom Schaufstall. I'm a part of the project. I guess I'm trying to figure out, according to the Century Code, it's by property that each percentage, I didn't know it was acreage, and how many people protested it, and how many homes were in the area, if you can explain that. Trying to understand the Century Code.
Okay, Tom? Yep.
Nothing.
Can you sign in, please?
Yeah.
And then we'll have Jarek come up and address that.
Mayor and Commissioners, the Century Code that lays out the protest rate is section 42-22-18, and it does say a majority of area. And maybe Amy would be able to give a second opinion on that, but land area is always the metric that we use to determine protest rates.
Yes, thanks, Jarek. So this section is 40-22-18.
Can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now? This section is 40-22-18. If the governing body finds the protest to contain the names of the owners of a majority of the area of the property included within the improvement district.
Yeah, I still didn't find out how many homes protested and how many were in the area. Do you understand that? That's the way it went last time. They took the number of homes. If you have 51% of the people protested, and it failed. So now you're going by area. I'm a little confused.
Okay, Jarek?
Mayor and Commissioners, I don't know the number of properties in here, and I don't know the number of properties that protested off the top of my head. The last time that we went through this, we would also do it by area, which is what we are required to do. So in any special assessment district that we've done, area would be the determining factor. Whether other information had been calculated and shared, the important one is protest rate by land area.
Okay, so in
2024.
July of '24, this was the same procedure you used, right?
Correct.
Same process.
Same process by the same people. So, yep. We have a similar map from the last time, and I'm sure that's still up on our site, and we can go take a double check that.
Okay, so nothing has changed.
Nope.
Well, last time, if you want to check the records, it did say how many properties were in the area. I think there was 500 something, and there was so many that protested it. That's all I'm asking for, is a little clarification.
Okay.
And if he doesn't know,
Thank you, Tom. Jarek?
We can get that information and make that available if people are interested in that number.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else tonight?
Mayor Freilich, Commissioners, I'm Lee Fleischer. I live on 2nd Street Northwest. I came to Mandan in 1967, and we bought a home then. And I can assure you, when I say 67, I was of age then, +3. So I've seen a lot of changes go through various parts of Mandan, and a lot of changes on the street that I live in. And I just have to say that in the last 15, 20, 25 years, there's been a lot of positive changes in Mandan. And I'm proud to say I live in Mandan. And I attended both meetings at Roosevelt, and I want to thank the commission for bringing this back after 2 years rather than the normal 5-year period, because there's definitely health and safety issues in our area. A previous person said that, he had that. We've had in our area in the last 4 to 5 years in my home and the one next to it, 3 breaks. So we definitely have some problems there. Also, I think we want to thank the Moore Engineering for all the work they did in preparing the information for us, and the city employees who provided information when it was requested. I think this has been very open, very transparent process, and from my visiting with a number of people, the great majority agree that something needs to be done, whether it's the street, the sewer, the water line, or whatever. Not everybody said that they want the thing to go through, but they all say something needs to be done. And I think that is the important part, and I'm happy to say that I think the 3 things that really came out when I was visiting with people: 1, something has to be done, and if we don't do it now, it's going to cost us more later. And the 2% loan was also attractive to people. So I feel that the proposal as presented is in the best interest of our part of town and the city of Mandan, and I would urge the commission to approve the project and proceed with due diligence. Thank you, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Lee? Thank you, Lee. Anyone else want to speak tonight? Third and final call. With that, the public hearing is closed. I would ask the commissioners to move on to resolution and ordinances. Item number 2, determining sufficiency, insufficiency of protest for Street Improvement District 242. Jarek?
Mayor, Commissioners, just to reiterate what I said earlier, our recommendation for this is to determine insufficiency of protest. Sorry, I don't have anything pulled up for this. Determine insufficiency of protest based on the protest rate by land area, and then to amend our contract with Moore Engineering to begin on final design and bidding for this project.
Okay. Any questions for Jarek? If not, thank you, Jarek. I would entertain a motion.
I move to determine insufficiency of protest for Street Improvement District 242 and enter into a contract with Moore Engineering to complete the final design and bidding.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Brown, second by Commissioner Schoberg. Any further discussion?
Mayor, Commissioners, and the audience here, I just want to make a couple comments. And I want to begin by acknowledging something very important. That's the many other residents in the district, and maybe perhaps are watching at home on their TVs too, or check it later, but they're living on fixed incomes and are understandably worried about the special assessment costs. Now, I respect that, and I know the concerns are valid, but no one here is trying to minimize the financial pressures that some may feel. And I'm not here to try to dismiss those worries specifically, but to give you a full picture. Because this decision made will not affect not only today, but the next 20 to 40 years of this particular neighborhood's future. The Elena's project may actually make things harder and more expensive for everyone in the long run. The water lines and sewer lines in this part of Mandan are in need of repair and updating. They are reaching the end of their useful life. When infrastructure fails unexpectedly, when you have a water main break, and repairs are emergency-based, not planned, then these emergency repairs cost a lot. They're significantly more in costs. And they don't qualify for the same funding sources that a planned improvement district does. So right now the city has access to some funding mechanisms, cost sharing, and financial tools that help reduce the amount that property owner has to pay. But those programs are not guaranteed in the future. They may not be available. If we wait 5, 10 years, as you know with everything, things that we repair in our house, our cars, if we wait, then the cost of materials and labor and borrowing will go up. It'll be much higher. And that support or funding may not be there later on as well. And the assessments could be dramatically higher. But I know these assessments are difficult. I've been city commissioner for almost 16 years anyway, and this has always been a difficult decision. It's a tough decision on the people that make the assessment districts and determine these as well. And I've had to pay them, and it's not one of the more enjoyable things in life is to have to pay special assessments. And if we reject a project, it doesn't protect us from any costs. It only delays things until the cost is higher and the situation is more urgent and options perhaps are fewer. And moving forward, it gives us control. It gives us access to funding. It gives us predictability. It protects this neighborhood from a much greater financial strain that will come if the systems fail. My goal is to make sure that we up here at the Commission, the government, and that you people out there have the information needed to make the best long-term decisions for your homes, for your families, and for your communities. That's all I have to say, Mayor.
Very well put, Commissioner. I would also like to add, you said 40 years, I would say 75 to 100 years. It will determine the viability of this neighborhood. So, yes, it's not taken lightly. None of this ever is, but it has to be done. I've made the comment, do we have 38 breaks in this neighborhood? Is that right?
Yeah, I think 38, upper 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and it's hockey stick, right? The old going along, boom, right?
Yep.
So it's terminal, and it's not going to heal itself. So this is a good project. We're going to resolve a lot of issues in that neighborhood. So, any other comments, commissioners? If not, I would ask for the roll call.
Commissioners Braun,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. With that, we will move on to bids. Consider concurrence of bid award for the Downtown Phase 1 Improvement Project, Street Improvement District 236. Jarek?
Mayor and Commissioners, just as a reminder, this is the project along First Street in the downtown area that would include reconstruction of First Street as well as the intersecting avenues between 6th Avenue Northwest and 4th Avenue Northwest. The NDDOT opened bids for this project, and we received 5 bids from various contractors. And these bids ranged from just over $5 million to just over $5.8 million. With an engineer's estimate at $5.7 million, our low bid was 12% under our estimate, and our high bid was only 2% over our estimate. So a really good bidding environment right now, and we're really appreciative of the competitiveness and what that does to the prices of our projects. We have quite a bit of, we were awarded $2.356 million of federal funds for this project, and we are estimating our city's share to be about $2.686 million, and this would be paid through special assessments, utility fund, and municipal infrastructure funds. We're recommending concurrence of the bid award to Siteworks Excavation, and I can answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions for Jarek?
Jarek Siteworks is a local company, is that correct?
Mayor, Commissioner Schoberg, I believe they are. We do work with a lot of the local people from Siteworks. If they're not local, they have a very strong local presence.
Thank you.
Jarek, you said there was a federal DOT grant?
Mayor, that's correct. Yeah, the Urban Grants Program, which I think is geared more towards this downtown infrastructure.
Okay. Which grants like that aren't available for everything, right? They're very site specific.
Mayor, that's correct. They're site specific and competitive.
Any other questions for Jarek? If not, commissioners, thank you, Jarek. What are your wishes?
I move to award the bid to Sitework Excavation as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Brown, second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. We will move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items you would like pulled from the consent agenda?
Mayor, I'd like to pull item 3 for more clarification, please.
Okay. Item 3, Public Works 2026 Equipment Budget Reallocation is pulled. With that, I would entertain a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Heinchan, second by Commissioner Brown. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioners Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. And with that, Mr. O'Keefe, Public Works 2026 Equipment Budget Reallocation.
I'm back.
Top
Mayor,
of the morning.
Commissioners.
Good evening.
This is just a reallocation for our 2026. We had a roller allocated. We took a peek at it, talked to the mechanics. We feel our roller is still in good operating condition, and we looked into a mastic dispenser and a machine. It's just a little bit different option for us for maintenance and longevity of our current road system. Maztec is a rubberized asphalt material. It has a asphalt binder, polymers, and aggregate. It's heated to bond tightly. It's better in the cracks. It helps seal so the water doesn't get underneath the road systems. Just better durability, extends the pavement life, and reduces frequency and repairs. It's just another tool for our tool belt to, continue the longevity of our current road system and better planning for the future.
Mayor and Shane, thank you for that clarification. I was reading, I didn't know what Maztec was. I think people watching in here, I like, for the clarification, but I like the investing forwards, not backwards. Rollers are still going to be used, but if there's a technology that gets us more life out of the roads, I like this idea of moving this budget item. So thank you for that clarification.
Any other questions for Mr. O'Keefe?
Thank you.
If not, thank you.
I'll move to approve the reallocation of the 2026 budgeted funds from the roller purchase to the purchase of a Maztec machine and associated tools.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Heinchan, a second by Commissioner Rohr. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioners Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. There is no old business. We will move on to new business. Consider an amendment to the engineering service agreement to include construction services to the Terra Valley Sanitary Sewer Project. Jarek?
Mayor and Commissioners, this is for our Terra Valley decommissioning project, which is a decommissioning of a sanitary lift station just north of the new high school, as well as the installation of a gravity sanitary sewer main connecting down to 1806. I can try and bring up a map if that's helpful for folks. We are up here north of 27th Street. The decommissioning is the lift station right here. And the flow that goes into that lift station would go down the hill and connect into a trunk line on the west side of 1806. This project was awarded to Crow River Construction in December. And as we approach construction season, we need to amend our contract with Apex Engineering in order to include construction oversight and community engagement. So at this point in time, all we have them contracted is through final design, and this would be the next step, and it's kind of an anticipated step through the contracting process. So we're recommending approval of the contract amendment as presented, but I can try and answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions for Jarek?
I got a couple of them for you, Jarek.
Absolutely.
That lift station was put in service in the early 70s?
Mayor, Commissioner Schoberg, that's correct.
Okay. And this project, just like Commissioner Heinsohn with his question for clarification, if people just read the agenda and didn't get into the packet at all, for clarification, the work that we're going to be doing on that wastewater connection with the new one on 1806 is going to be strictly the abandonment of the current lift station and the digging and burying of the new connecting sewage line.
Mayor, Commissioner Schoberg, that's correct. With the caveat that the design work was done for a drainage improvement project, a stormwater improvement project, so that the two efforts would be coordinated with each other in the long run, although that portion of the construction is not included on this bid package.
So if any residents in Terra Valley have any questions, this does not address the roadways on 8th Avenue Northwest, north of 24th, nor does it include 27th Street at all.
Mayor, Commissioner Schoberg, that is also correct. We were awarded some funding for the 8th Avenue Northwest and 27th Street North project, and that is upcoming. We expect design to be finished this summer with a bid in November of 26 for construction in 27.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Jarek?
Mayor, just a couple comments, and Jarek alluded to it as well, but we are in a competitive bidding environment. This is another one that's 10% under bid or under our estimated budget, which I know there's been some comments of going over budget in these projects and things. We do build an anticipated buffer, where we're not just throwing a dart, right? We do believe we're going to fit these projects, into these budgeted amounts. And the bids have been coming in good, which is really good to see. The second comment I would just like to make is, we're asking to have this oversight, which we've seen is proven beneficial in these projects, but we're not spending this money until these projects are moving forward. And I want to make that comment for the public is we're budgeting for these, but we're not spending spending the money until things are moving along. And I think that's important to note, so.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, with that, commissioners,
I'll move to amend the engineering services agreement with Apex Engineering as presented.
Second.
we have motion by Commissioner Schoberg, second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Braun,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. We will move back to resolution and ordinances. Item number 1, consider a resolution to submit proposed sales and use tax to June 2026 ballot. Chief Bitts.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Kind of going to take a three-part approach to this tonight. We'll lead off with a little bit of background information. We'll go through a PowerPoint kind of highlighting some of the needs and solutions that we've identified in the fire department, and then we'll circle back around to the formal business, which is what you mentioned, a resolution to submit ballot language on the June 2026 ballot. So, over the past few years as a city and specifically as a fire department, we've looked at our long-range planning, and we've highlighted a few critical needs that really stuck out at us to secure our emergency response and continue that long into the future. One of the things that we identified right away and very clearly was the need for fire station number 3. And while we started looking at that, we were also looking at are we well positioned to have a backup like emergency operations center in the event of river flooding from either Missouri River or Heart River flooding. We have a good protection system in place, but so it really generated a bigger discussion of what does a long-range successful fire department look like. So that brought us to the point where we have a solid plan, but we need to identify some funding sources to do that. So anyways, if we could, we'll transition to a PowerPoint that will kind of help walk through some of that stuff here on the screen there. So, I mean, first and foremost, every time we do anything as a city or a department, we look at our mission, our vision, and our values. And those aren't punchlines. We really, truly, we do take those serious, and we make all of our decisions based on those. So, we take our respect, our integrity, accountability very seriously, and we measure our progress and our response to the community day in and day out. So we're not making wishful decisions. They're all data-driven decisions. This chart clearly shows that our community is on the grow. That's a good thing, but with that growth comes needs, and we have to continue to invest in our community, much like the streets or our other infrastructure that we have in our city. The population today is 25,000. If we look out into the future, city planners, former city planner Andrew Straume, in his statistics show that in 2050 we'll be at probably 36,000 people. And even if that's inaccurate, the growth today, you can see on the chart since 2015 is continually steadily increasing, and we don't see that changing. We anticipate that growth to continue. And there's been a lot of development, specifically up in the northwest part of town with Red Trail Elementary, our new high school, and the northwest part of town is well positioned to continue to grow. Our call volume, we've had about a 62% increase in calls in the last 10 years. And we are an all hazards department as a fire department, so we respond to everything from a structure fire to a car accident to a medical emergency, so it could be cardiac arrest or choking or anything like that. So the calls continue to increase. We are very strategic. Within the last year, we have started to evaluate whether or not we need to go on every single call, and we've been reducing calls to like nursing homes and transfers and such. So we'll continue to evaluate that. But even doing that, we're still seeing an increase in call volume just as the population increases and more people are more active, and there's more chance for an emergency. So that trend line continues to increase, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we're being responsible with our response as a city. But the other statistic I want to point out here is that 20%, just over 20% of our calls are overlapping calls, and that'll become important a little bit longer, or a little bit in the future here in the slide. Fires as a whole, we get asked a lot, are there as many fires as there used to be? Well, it's the fires as a whole has actually flatlined or maybe even slightly decreased because there is a lot of safety features built into buildings. However, when fires do occur, based on the building construction and the product in our houses, in our buildings nowadays, much of them are based, or so much of it's based off of petrochemical components compared to traditional construction. So the fires that do occur are becoming more and more fatal. Just want to point that out. Currently, we have 2 fire stations that we're serving the city of Mandan with. Fire Station 1 on the left there, that building was built in the late 1800s or early 1900s. It served many, many different roles of the city, everything from city hall to police station. I think Public Works was based out of there. The fire station, and I think even a jail. I'm not 100% sure on that. I get head nods. So there was a jail there at one time, and we still use that. It's an excellent facility. It's well located for us. We remodeled that in 2001, 2002 era. We have a staffed engine out of there, so that means that one engine company with 3 firefighters is stationed out of there 24/7, and then our administrative offices, so myself and the battalion chief, our office is located at that station. And then our other station, Fire Station number 2 out in Lakewood, was built in 2009, and has 1 engine, and then we also have our water rescue boat assigned to that station also within the last 12 months. So that's a good step in the right direction. That station is staffed with a minimum of 2 firefighters 24/7. By the end of this summer, we'll have 3 firefighters at both stations 24/7. The call volume down in the Lakewood area continues to increase. When we first open these stations, it kind of starts off slow, but as the neighborhoods develop and stuff, it becomes more and more evident the need. And we made the right decision by putting that station down there, and it's proven to be very successful. So our fire station, when we place our stations, we don't just throw a dart on the map. We're very intentional with it. The goal for us is to be on location within 4 minutes 90% of the time. We can't build the church for Easter Sunday. We know we're not going to hit it 100% of the time, but we need to strive for that at least 90% of the time. That is the NFPA standard. Oops. Let's see here once. There we go. So that puts, if we just, as a rule of thumb, that puts our fire stations at about a 1.5 to 2 mile radius in between those stations. You can see Station 1 coverage is pretty good up in the central part of town. Station 2's coverage covers Lakewood very well. There's a little bit of a gap down in the southeast part in the Plainview, Fort Lincoln Elementary area, but still it's not horrible. Where the gap is really evident is in the Station 3, the northwest part of Mandan. Almost that entire circle is in city limits, which we are responsible for responding everything from a brush fire, structure fire, car accident, cardiac arrest, whatever it might be. So currently, our response time to this area of town is 11 minutes, and that's driving time only. So that's if the truck is running and our personnel are sitting in the truck waiting for the call to come in. So in an emergency, there's a call processing time. So when you call 911, there's still a minute or 2 for the dispatch to process the call, our personnel to get dispatched. Once we're dispatched, if it's a medical alarm, it's 60-second turnout time. If it's a structure fire where they have to put on their structure firefighting gear, we allow 90 seconds for that turnout time. And then you add the 11 minutes on there. So now you're looking at, that 13, 14-minute mark quite easily. And again, so our response time to Red Trail Elementary today is in excess of 11 minutes. In that area, in the Station 3 area, in that red circle that I highlighted earlier, there is about 1,583 structures in that area, and we estimate about 3,500 people live in that area. So the big question comes, remember earlier I mentioned that about 20 to 25% of our calls are overlapping as our city continues to grow. So if Station 1 is on a call in downtown Mandan or wherever in Station 1's area at City Hall here, that means that Station 2 has to respond up to the area in northwest part of Mandan. The travel time from Station 2 to Red Trail Elementary is a minimum of 13 minutes. Again, that's if we're in the truck and the truck is running and there's no dispatch delay. So you're approaching that 20-minute mark if Station 1's on a call and Station 2 is not in the truck ready to go. And then we're also leaving the southeast part of Mandan, Lakewood area unprotected. So we get asked a lot of times, well, does that matter? Does response time really matter? And it's no surprise that I'm going to say yes, it does. Emergencies, they're chaotic, but they're very predictable. I mean, when you study them as a whole, there's a cascade of events, and each minute that goes by without interaction from EMS, fire, law enforcement, that event continues to escalate until there's some sort of interaction. So in like a cardiac arrest situation, brain damage occurs in less than 4 minutes without CPR. In a structure fire, I mentioned earlier that our building construction has changed. Buildings used to be built with heavier duty material. It was more expensive, but it would an average fire had about 10 to 15 minutes of escape time. Now with modern fire behavior in building construction the way it is, that flashover time when everything in the room reaches a combustion temperature has been lowered to about 5 to 10 minutes. So again, fires are about flatline, slightly decreasing, but when they do occur, they're much more extreme and violent and fatal than what they used to be. So what's our solution? We talked a lot about problems. What's the solution? If we build a fire station up in the northwest part of town, that will obviously help us reduce our response times from that 11-minute mark minimum to 3 to 4 minutes, which we would, again, obtain our goal of 4-minute response time 90% of the time. So it doesn't replace any stations. It would be adding a station. One of the other things I wanted to mention earlier was when there is a structure fire, the NFPA standard is that we should be able to assemble anywhere from 17 to 18 firefighters on scene within 8 minutes. So right now, tonight, I think we have 5 people on duty. So after we get Station 3 built, we would want to have 3 firefighters at Station 1, Station 2, as well as Station 3 to help us get closer to that number. That immediate response is where your success comes from when you're trying to interject in an emergency situation. So you have to hit it. You have to hit the situation very hard and very fast with a lot of personnel at once. So that's the purpose of having people on duty, in addition to trying to curb your response times. So when we looked at our 10-year plan at the fire department, it became evident that we need to spend about anywhere from $12 to $14 million to build a fire station with emergency operations center. As we mentioned earlier, we're looking for the long play here. If we're going to build a building up there and we're going to spend a couple $1 million, we want to make sure that it's something that is going to last for a long time. It's going to well serve us for a long time. I talked a little bit briefly about possibly an EOC. Currently, if Mandan needed an EOC, we work very closely with our partners at Morton County, and we would go over to the basement of the Morton County courthouse and utilize their EOC. But if we can go out in the hallway here and look at pictures of 3-4 feet deep water in the building that we're standing in, or out on the street that we're on. We're protected well with our levee system, but things happen. So we're looking at the long play. If we're going to build a building, it makes sense for us to build this thing so we as a city, and even a county for that matter, can fall back to a building on the high ground that's equipped with modern technology. We're in discussions with Morton County to see if there's a way that we can work together on that. And those discussions are going very well. What that looks like, we're not exactly sure yet, but we're going to continue those. And then, of course, the truck to the truck and equipment for that station is very expensive. We've also looked at our long-term facility maintenance on Station 1 and Station 2. As I mentioned earlier, Station 1 is 2001, 2002, and needs some improvements over the next coming years. And then Station 2, again, in the next 10-year range, we're going to need to update that to make sure that that building stays for a long time. As mentioned, when we as a city and a fire department plant a building, we want to do it right, and we want to make sure that it's going to be here for years to come. One of the other things we want to point out is with this fire station, we're not going to be a fully hardened facility, but we do want to make it semi-hardened. And what I mean when I say that is if a tornado comes, we need to be able to respond. We don't want this building to tip over and crush our fire trucks or our firefighters. So that we are working towards that as a design principle. And then also, with this funding package, we were looking at land for possibly Station 4 at some point. Station 4 is a long ways on the radar, but land is not going to get any cheaper, so if we know we're going to need it, now's the time to secure that land at some point. And the question we get is, will my taxes go up? No, we do not plan to raise your taxes. The Starion Sports Complex 3/4 cent sales tax is expected to be paid off 14 years early in late 2027 or 2028 at some point. So it's our suggestion and funding package or recommendation would be to go to a vote in June of 2026 and ask the voters to approve extending that sales tax or reallocating it. So it'd be replacing the 3/4 cent sales tax that already exists today, which is being used to pay off the Starion Sports Complex. And again, that's happening 14 years earlier than anticipated. So it's a sign that our sales tax is strong and our community is strong. So what does a 3/4 cent sales tax look like? If you spent $1, here's the math on it. But if you're anything like me, every time you stop somewhere, it's at least $100. It's never $1. So that'd be an $8.25 tax. And again, we wouldn't be stacking taxes. This would be once the Starion Sports Complex tax is paid off, we would continue it and collect that money as a city and use it to fund this plan. The other question we get, what is our sales tax getting out of hand? Well, again, we wouldn't be increasing it. We would be keeping it the same as it is today. And just for reference, Bismarck is 8% sales tax. So yes, we are higher, but only by 0.25%. Grant funding gets talked about a lot. We are always seeking grants. We updated our Fire Station 1 and Station 2 with exhaust recovery systems to the tune of just under $100,000. That was this last year. The boat that we recently purchased, that was about half funded through grant money. We have a truck on order expected to be delivered this coming fall yet. That is about half grant money. The 6 firefighters that we just started our fire academy with this last Monday were part of the SAFER grant. So we're constantly exploring grant money. Mandan is kind of in a unique situation where we're not a small town, but we're not a big city. So it seems like a lot of those grants are geared to small town or big cities, and not always, but we're continuing to scour for grants. We don't see any that we're finding right now. Why don't we co-op with Mandan Rural Fire Department? That's a question we get asked a lot, and we work very well with Mandan Rural Fire Department. Mutual aid calls, we run with those guys quite a bit. They run with us quite a bit. The problem is that they're not staffed 24/7, so it doesn't reduce our response times. Their firefighters are at home, and then they get called in and come to the station and get a truck, and it won't reduce our response time. But again, we continue to work with both those entities. So what does our timeline look like? This is what I just mentioned a minute ago. In June of 2026, we would ask for the public support or go to a vote of the people. If that vote passes in 2026, we would anticipate working through design through 2027 with a groundbreaking sometime in 2027 with an anticipated opening in 2028 at some point. And again, we put in here because Station 1 and Station 2 are aging as we speak, so we would, as part of this funding package, we would want to make sure that those facilities are maintained to the point where they can service well into the future. Here's a rendering that we have done on our Fire Station 3. So this would be a 3-bay station. It would house an engine company and a brush truck up there. It would be designed to have 24/7 living quarters for up to 4 firefighters. And again, this particular concept that's on the screen is with some office space on the main floor, an EOC, an Emergency Operations Center, and then the living quarters would be upstairs in this scenario. As I mentioned earlier, they're long-term facilities. We don't want to be short-sighted and not build it appropriately for a long-term play for our city. So, we plan to do a public engagement session if we proceed forward tonight at Red Trail Elementary on April 13th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And we plan to do lots of public engagement again if this is successful tonight with approving the ballot language. I threw a lot of information at you. Is there any questions on the actual PowerPoint, or how would you like to proceed with going into the resolution right away, or questions first?
Mitch, could you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you first.
Could you explain to the folks what NFPA is and what they do, and also ISO?
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, Commissioner Schoberg. Yeah, so NFPA is National Fire Protection Association. They are the industry standard across the country that establish standards for what communities and municipalities across our country that's the legal standard and set safety standards for all kinds of activities, from what type of gear we wear to our response times to building code, where tanks can be placed and such. So that is the industry standard for that. ISO is an insurance services organization, which means they go around and they evaluate communities and almost give your community, it's like a credit score. It's not a credit score, it's an insurance score is what it is. And 1 to 10 is what they rate your community at. As your community, if you have no fire department, it would be a 10 on a score of 1 to 10. If you have class 1 is the best fire department, fully staffed, fully equipped with response times, under that 4-minute mark, 90% of the time, with the 17 minimum people on duty. Currently, we are a class 3 department in the city of Mandan, and what that is your insurance companies use that rating, or may use that rating. I have to be careful how we say that, because some do, some don't. But they may use that rating to adjust your premiums based on your ISO class. I kind of said a lot of words there. I hope I covered your question. Thank you.
You did. Thank you.
Chief Bitts, I want to clarify something. When we look back at the sales tax today, if you could bring that slide back up. So out of a $100 bill, the sales tax is $8.25, but that is not the city of Mandan's. That you've got the state, you've got Morton County, and and then the city, so that adds up to $8.25. Right.
Mayor, Commissioners, that's an excellent clarification. I probably glossed over that. As noted on the slide, the city of Mandan's tax is 2.25% of that 8.25%. So yes, you are correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then when we look at the growth pattern for Northwest Mandan, you could bring that circle back up. And what was the homes were, or property was 1,500 up there?
Yes, I think 1,583 structures, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, with a population of 3,800?
Yep, that's what we estimate.
So when we look at our projection maps, that area could grow by, 5 to 10,000 easily?
Mayor, Commissioners, I don't have that future growth prediction number in mind, but I know that there's development underway as we speak in that area, and then there's also talk of at some point in the long-term future, another interchange out in that same direction. So the area is definitely prime for growth. I don't have the exact number of what that number looks like, but definitely prime for growth.
Yeah, it has to because we can't go east, right? So we can
Correct.
go northwest, and we can go south. And but yes, that area is going to be the primary growth in Mandan in the next 25 to 50 years. And so when we talk about, so a fire station, when you look at our current one, Fire Station 1, it's 100 years old, right? So these structures aren't, we're not going to wear it out in 30 years. So when we put the fire station there, it's going to be there for 100 years. And that's why you want it hardened in the event of a natural disaster, a tornado, because the fire department is going to respond. And when we talk about an emergency operations center, again, everything is fine, but we are all in a floodplain. All of our emergency response services are in a floodplain. So I think it would be very prudent, given the opportunity to have an emergency operations center potential, if needed, outside of the floodplain.
Yeah, Mayor, that's very well said. As you mentioned, everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Until it's not.
Until it's not.
And again, it's a long-term play, and yes, it's money. We don't take that lightly. It's money, but as mentioned earlier, if we're going to do it, it's never going to get cheaper than it will be today. That much I can promise.
Any other questions for Mitch?
Mayor, Chief Bitts, just regarding to your manpower resources, just to understand, is it true to say that it takes roughly 5 people to make one 24, 7-day week, round-the-clock position? In other words, if your ideal is to have, or right now to have 3 firemen on duty at all times, it's going to actually take 15 firemen to staff that station. Would that be correct?
Mayor, Commissioners, Commissioner Rohr, 12 to 15 depends on what you staff at, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
But just to fall back
Yes.
on that, it takes a number of manpower because when you're going 24/7, it takes a lot more people to provide the coverage or provide the services, and that's all part of the cost. And in police and fire alone, the personnel services are high cost, sometimes up to 85% of the operating budget. So, but it's something you have to have. Also, I was going to ask, just a matter of curiosity, if you have 3 officers, firemen working during the day, and you have off-duty firemen, and you get a call, are they still paged out? I mean, I lost track of time. How do they get out? How do they get called?
Yeah, so Mayor, Commissioners, Commissioner Rohr, so if we have full-time staff on duty, and if there's a medical call or just a minor car accident, the on-duty staff handle that. If there's a fire call, we still rely heavily on our paid-on-call, our part-time personnel. Again, we don't have enough staff. We're not getting rid of our part-time people. We don't have enough staff with our full-time. So the part-time paid-on-call, which used to be volunteers many years ago, they respond to the station and they get a truck and respond to the scene as well. Our off-duty full-time personnel will respond if there's a confirmed structure fire or a confirmed entrapment in a vehicle or something like that.
What mechanism is used, though, to alert them?
I'm sorry, Mayor, Commissioners, Commissioner Rohr, we use our cell phones. There's an app on our cell phone that is utilized.
Okay, yeah, that was my question. I use the old time, pager.
Sure, yeah.
Used to get paged out of city commission meetings when I didn't want to pay a lot of attention to them when I was chief of police. I hate to make
Mayor,
that, but that's
Commissioner, maybe afterwards you can teach me some things. So.
Talk to me after the meeting. I'll show you some tricks.
Email him on his BlackBerry. Any other questions for Chief Bitts?
Mayor, fellow commissioners, if I may, I've got one question. We heard the term EOC quite a bit, and the Morton County Emergency Management Director, Pat Martin, is in the audience. Pat, I don't need to throw you under the bus because we served together with Mandan Rural many years ago. But if you could explain in a nutshell, Pat, what your geographic area is and what you do. You're under the bus. I can hear
Okay.
it coming. The wheels are rolling.
No, that's why I'm here, Commissioner Schoberg. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, first of all, thank you for having me, inviting me up, even with the potentially long answer. But so an emergency operations center is basically can be many different things, right? Particularly in Mandan and Morton County, we have a lot of events, right? Mass gathering events. And recently, within the past 2 years, with some change in leadership, we have really ramped up our efforts to plan for those events from a public safety standpoint. We're involving emergency management, fire, police, EMS, private security. So we bring all of those stakeholders together into one room during those events, and then we have an emergency action plan that, if needed, we will implement. But we, more importantly, are able to monitor those public gatherings in real time, and that's done through an emergency operations center. Currently, under our current infrastructure that we have, our emergency operations center, like Chief Bitts spoke about, is a shared environment in that we've been operating out of the law enforcement center for those events, but yet at the end of the day, those are shared. That's a shared building, right? Many shared jurisdictions, which it works for us, but I think if we take a look at historically, particularly DAPL, particularly the 2011 flood that affected Mandan and Morton County, our emergency operations center operated out of the law enforcement center, and that was problematic. I talked to some of the staff that worked during that time, particularly the flood, and one of the things that he talked about was the inability to have a private space to accomplish some tasks, right? He talked about, in particular, every day he needed to prepare a briefing for the political leadership, whether it was the city or the county, so that that leadership could have a meeting with Bismarck Burley leadership. And he had to leave that shared environment and find an office space in the courthouse so that he can accomplish that. So an emergency operations center is when it's up and running, is a very busy place, right? We have a planning section, we have operations section, we have finance sections. All those sections are staffed, right? So to my point, a lot of people are coming in and out. They come up to that particular staff member and say, hey, Joel, I need this or that. Well, Joel's in the middle of getting a briefing done for leadership. So that was an example of some past examples of where, if we had that type of facility that we're looking at maybe planning for, would alleviate that. I guess to answer your question too, Commissioner Schoberg, emergency management as a whole, I get that question a lot, right? So the quick answer is basically FEMA at the local level. The longer answer is, excuse me, we work as a coordinating source for local emergencies, right? All emergencies begin local and end local. We may bring the state in for assistance, we may bring the federal government in for assistance, depending on the emergency or the disaster. But emergency management is at the core of that and coordinating all of the effort of that response. For example, if a prime example of how we would help coordinate a local response here in Mandan, for example, is particularly when that disaster exceeds the capabilities of the locals, then we as emergency management can come in and, number one, help with the response. We're doing that from the get-go. But we can reach out to the state, and because we have those relationships established, and look at what type of resources the state can bring. And then, of course, that can bounce up, like I said before, to the federal level as well. So we're that coordinating body for the whole jurisdiction of Morton County. The city of Mandan, obviously, New Salem, Flasher, Almont, Hebron, and Glen Olin, and everywhere in between. So we work very closely with our emergency responders. We want to have a great relationship with them. I think today I can say that we do, as the Office of Emergency Management in Morton County. Our working relationship with the locals here in Mandan is probably the best that I've seen in, since probably 20 years, honestly. So.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Chief Bitts?
So I guess if there's no further questions specifically related to like the fire station or anything like that, the formal action item would be to carry on to pass the resolution solidifying the ballot language for the June 2026 election. And again, this would be not increasing the tax; it would be replacing the tax.
The purpose of the tax.
The purpose of the tax would be to,
yes.
Yeah. So mayor, commissioners are going.
Yes, and in true transparency, instead of extending it out as it was voted to 2041, once it's paid off, it is felt that it should be submitted back to the citizens to decide how they want to use it again.
Correct. Mayor, commissioners, that is correct. One thing, I'm going to use your words you just said. We want to be transparent as a city, as a fire department, as a park district. If people vote on something, we say what we're going to do, and we do what we're going to say, and we follow through on that. So that is the intention, to be clear and transparent, that this would be to be used for the fire department, for Station 3 and the trucks and the equipment for that.
Okay, one more. We paid off the Starion Sports Complex 14 years early, and now we're asking for that sales tax to be reallocated for the new fire station and the upkeep of the other two.
That is correct, yes.
Commissioners?
I'll move to approve the attached resolution and ballot language as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Heinchan, a second by Commissioner Schoberg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. And this is a bit of irony. We'll move to item number 3. Second consideration of ordinance number 1484, floodplain ordinance 105-4-4 of the Mandan Code of Ordinances. Jordan.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Yeah, definitely some irony there. And I would also take this opportunity to say if you have a house or residence or any type of structure that does have some low-lying area with the temps coming up to what they are later this week, it might be a great opportunity to check out your sump pumps and low-lying areas of your home. So, hey, let's get that in there too. So.
Pro tip.
This is the second consideration of ordinance 1484, the floodplain ordinance that we would be replacing. I have no other comments, no public comments that I have received between now and the first consideration. So, any questions for me?
Any questions for Jordan? Nope. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
Commissioners?
I move to approve the second and final consideration of ordinance number 1484 as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Rohr, second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioners Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. Item number 4, consider a resolution to adjust the rate at which extra duty police is billed. Chief Ziegler?
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, currently, the police department occasionally gets requests from, private or public organizations to come and work in off what we call extra duty or off-duty work. And the city, under the city ordinance, currently it's $55 an hour for that. That's helped to reimburse the cost of the officer and equipment. It hasn't been changed in probably about 8 years. So that cost has went up. There's, the cost of doing business is going up. The current $55 barely covers the salary of an officer at its current state. There's some officers with their salaries and wages that will exceed at time and a half the $55 an hour. So therefore, the city's losing money. And it's my belief that that should be the responsibility of whoever's hiring for that extra duty to pay that, so the taxpayers don't have to. So my request is to move that from a $55 to a $75 fee or billing fee for any entity that wants to hire a police officer for extra duty or off-duty purposes. We only get a few requests a year, but with the special events and more private businesses coming in and doing things, that could increase, and I think it's only fair to the citizens that they don't pay that the entity that is hosting that event pays it. And I'm free for any questions.
Any questions for Chief Ziegler?
Chief, I know I'm working with something now with one of our portfolios, and that's a Fargo operation that wants to use one of our facilities. So, be honest with you, I don't know if there's any other out of Bismarck, Mandan areas that are asking that. I just know of the one, but that is a 2.5-day event. And I use that just as an example. They're not requesting any law enforcement, fire, or EMS. However, they are requesting the use of our facility. So there is merit to your request, in my opinion.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any other questions for Chief Ziegler? If not, your wishes?
I'll move to approve increasing the police extra duty billing rate from $55 per hour to $75 per hour for extra duty services when requested by any organization or person.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Heinchan, a second by Commissioner Schoberg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioners Heinchan,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. There is no other business tonight. Future meeting dates of the Board of City Commissioner are as follow. Tuesday, April 7th at 5:30. And after the commission meeting, the Board of Equalization will meet at 7 p.m. Tuesday, April 21st, 5:30. And Tuesday, May 5th at 5:30. And with that, as always, be kind to yourself, be kind to your neighbor. It's onward and upward, Mandan, and we will leave you with a bit of a Irish prayer tonight in honor of St. Patrick's Day. Commissioner Schoberg.
All right. The following words are commonly known as an Irish blessing, and When I sing, the water shuts itself off in the house, so we're just going to read this to y'all. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, the rains fall gently on your fields, and until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. May God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I feel like we should cue the Lawrence Welk. Good night. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.